Are you ready for the weekend yet? We have events, news, and a guest for you to enjoy this Lake Life weekend. Hello and welcome to another episode of Lake Life Weekend Podcast. I'm Dirk, I'm your host, and we're approaching weekend 29 of this year 2020. And a lot has changed. We are adapting to new protocols, social distancing protocols, and that had an effect on many places, including the arts and theater. So I'm very happy to have in this program this week Kellie and Lee, who will be performing a theater play at Ridgewood Winery the weekend of July 25th. And this whole play is a fundraiser for the Fargo-Moorhead Theater to rebuild the roof, and also for our local historic homes theater, which was unable to have any performances this year. And so I'm very happy to speak to both and learn about themselves and what caused, or like how they came up with the idea and the program and whatnot. So that's a very interesting program, and I would like to invite you to go and enjoy an evening. There's only 75 tickets available. You can book them over digital ticketing places and through their Facebook page, but you will hear all that in a little bit. So yeah, thank you for tuning in this week again with our latest program. And also, to find new destinations to explore, go to wkndnow.com. We have a updated website with a map interface and some destinations for you where you can hike or take the walk with the dog, make a bike ride on the trails. Lots and lots of destinations to find that you may have not heard about. So please go to wkndnow.com to check that out. And if you have an idea for our program, an interview, a story to share, please email us to hello@lakelifeweekend.com, and we would like to include you. So thanks again. Have a wonderful weekend ahead and enjoy this latest podcast recording. Welcome to our interview part. I'm here with Kellie and Lee.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
And today we're gonna speak about art,
Yes.
theater.
Yes, sir.
And you are preparing a play called Love Letters.
That is correct.
And you're performing in North Dakota and also in Minnesota.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you will be performing at the Ridgewood Winery very soon on July 25th.
Yep. Not this Saturday, but next.
Yep.
Very soon. And all good. The following weekend. And I was going to have you introduce yourself a little bit, who you as a performing group are, what brings you to Lakes Country. Before we actually talk about Love Letters, a very intriguing title. I have not read the book or seen the play before. So why don't you introduce yourself first a little bit, Kellie, and
Okay.
then Lee, and then we dive into Love Letters.
Great.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm Kellie Pfeiffer, and for the last 28 years, I've lived in Fargo, North Dakota. I was a theater teacher, middle school theater teacher for about 13 of those years. And recently kind of snowbird relocated to South Carolina, which is my home state where I grew up. But have always been involved in theatrical things, and really loved teaching and directing children's musicals and plays. So.
Okay, very cool. And who's Lee?
Well, who's Lee Clocky? I grew up in Fargo until I was 13, and my family moved away to Colorado, where I went into the military. I was in theater my whole life also, just not in Fargo-Moorhead. Moved back 5 years ago. Got involved in the Fargo-Moorhead Community Theater, where I met Kellie.
Yes, we just met last year doing Fargo-Moorhead Community Theater's production of Mamma Mia. We were both in that.
I've seen the advertisement. I must admit, I failed to attend.
I'm very,
missed a good
very
one.
disappointed in you, Dirk. Yeah,
It was very fun.
it was awesome. And,
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we met there. We were.
It's a
fans.
musical, no?
Yeah.
It is, yeah. It's pretty much a bunch of ABBA songs strung together
That's
with
what I
a very
thought.
thin plot.
Very thin plot, but yeah.
But the audience absolutely loves it. It's
Yeah.
just so much fun.
It really pretty much highlighted my dancing ability. I mean, anybody who saw the production is going to laugh their ass off. But yeah, but no, and been back here 5 years. I am the area manager for Noodles and Company for North Dakota and South Dakota. So I travel a lot, and that's who Lee Clocky is.
Okay, and so you two are experienced and passionate actors
Yes.
and theater people, and
Yes.
now you two, after you met, you founded. I think it says production, but like it's a. How does that work? It's a
Right.
group. Is it?
Well, we, kind of were visiting in March and April and talking about there is going to be a definite lack of theater this summer because you can't do it. I mean, huge musicals and things like that we're used to in the Fargo-Moorhead area. We're all canceling because
Due to the situation
due
of
to the pandemic. Yes,
sure.
definitely.
So gatherings are prohibited of
Yeah.
that sort,
Right.
and so that's how your idea of founding a production. Okay, interesting. Okay, keep going.
Well, it's part of it. The other part was that the theater that we ended up meeting at, Fargo-Moorhead Community Theater, suffered their roof collapsed last December. They lost a lot of their production and are working to raise money to get that space back up and running so they can have another season.
Is that in the Island Park one?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that
Yeah.
the roof
So
collapsed.
Yeah.
it's currently I'm on the actual Buildings and Plans Committee, and
right.
they're just getting ready to start the project and the campaign for funds and to rebuild that theater. So
Okay.
So kind of with those two ideas in mind, then around in April, Lee sort of suggested, we should do something that would raise money for that, but it should be theater. That would be something that we could figure out how to socially distance it so people could come and watch it, and we should look at doing it in some of these lake towns. That's where all the people are in the summer.
Okay.
And also, we wanted to help the bars and restaurants
Right.
that were suffering, that couldn't have any people in them and things like that. And we thought, well, if we could have a play, bring it to, for instance, Richwood Winery, who we know is suffering. I mean, they couldn't even open for months and months and months.
Sure.
So if we
How did you overcome the obstacle of social distancing? So explain that, because
Yeah.
like we are actually not shut down, but we are still practicing social distance. So now
There's kind of
So how do you do that then?
Yeah, well, there's kind of two ways. As far as what we're doing as actors, there are just two of us, and I guess our families know each other well, and we are in each other's circle, and so it's fine for us to be together and rehearse. We feel safe about that. And again, just two people versus like a huge cast of say 30 or something like that, much safer.
So Love Letters is a 2-person act or theater.
Correct, correct.
and
Two-person play.
and that, not to give a spoiler away necessarily, but we don't even really actually face each other for most of the play.
Okay.
So I mean,
True.
it's very social
Yep.
distancing.
Yeah,
Just by nature.
Just even
by
sitting
nature.
there, yeah.
But not only on stage, but also for the audience. So
Yeah.
how do we overcome
Right.
that? Because we cannot
Right.
meet in
That's the other
a
piece.
room.
With each venue that we approached about doing this for us, that was a definite need. And so when we talked to Richwood Winery, it's outdoors, and they figured out a way they can space chairs and how they can comfortably come up with a number that would fit in their outdoor space, where if you're with a group of 4, you guys sit together, and then we space 6 feet, and so very organically they sort of figured out how many people can we have and still let it be a safe thing.
They came up with during their annual wine stomp,
Right.
grape stomp and stuff like that. They have 200 or 300 people there.
Yes.
So I mean, we're only selling 75 tickets.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of room there.
Right.
I mean, and I've been to their grape stomp, and it doesn't even seem crowded during the grape stomp.
Right.
Really.
You're in a
No, it's
vineyard.
spacious.
Yeah,
and,
you're out in the
and-
vineyards,
Yeah,
which is
I mean,
lovely.
so I mean, it's really, I mean, one of the names that we've actually said is when we came up with it is date night under the stars. So I mean,
Really will be under the stars.
encouraging people to bring their chairs or their blankets, and they can sit right in the vineyard with the grapes and watch us, and Richwood has said, yeah, do that. You know, bring your bug spray, of course. It's Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
but it, you know, so I mean, they can definitely be socially distanced. There's a lot of room out there. I mean, and that's assuming that we even sell 75 tickets. We hope we sell. Now we just got done last week at Drecker Brewery in
sold
Fargo,
out
and
there.
we actually sold out. It was wonderful. So it was great. So,
But again, a small audience because you have to socially distance. So about half of what they would normally be able to fit on their patio.
Yeah.
And they'll do another show for us on July 30th, or we'll do another show at their venue, I should say.
Yeah, they asked us to come back on the 30th, which is wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
So so there's a demand.
Yeah.
People want to experience. And then you're booked again. So that's the best feedback one can have.
Yeah.
It really was. It's awesome. So we have a fourth show. We're not going to do any more. We're going to do 4
Just
shows.
4.
Just 4.
Got to enjoy our summer too.
Yeah.
At the lake.
Yeah. But it's been fun.
It's been great. It's been really, really fun. And the people that we've brought on board with us to help us with this are all people we've met through different theatrical venues. James Stinger, our director, was my technical director at Ben Franklin Middle School for a couple of years, and he also works in Vergas at Billy's. And so, and he lives out here in
I believe he says he knows you.
Lakes area. So him and some other FMCT friends that.
Well, he's the theater director at MSUM or the technical director. Technical
designer and director.
At MSUM right now. And,
So you out of a live situation, you decided to produce. And now, have you always, if I understand correctly, you taught theater?
I did.
Kelly, and you performed?
I performed. I was in when I was younger in the Air Force. I competed and was in a traveling troupe called Tops and Blues, and we put on a traveling series of shows all over the world. I did that for 2 years, and
for
lots
the
of other theaters. Yeah, for
really?
the troop,
Isn't
for the
that
troops.
cool?
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah.
But you have not really been an actress before.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
I've done both. I mean, when I was in my school year and doing a lot of directing of those middle school kids, it was hard for me to do. But that's how I started.
I see.
And I've done quite a few things for FMCT over the years, and a few other production companies around Fargo-Moorhead area, and Fargo-Moorhead Opera and things like that too.
I mean, I think it's fascinating. I love the arts myself. I'm more a consumer of the arts.
Yeah.
I'm not an actor or producer.
We love that.
Yeah,
We need that.
Yeah.
no, it's good. So and I'm happy to hear that there has been a sold out show, and I'm really happy that you bring that culture component to the area. I really think that's wonderful. How before you tell us a little bit more about Love Letters, but not too much, I guess. How is it to? How do you do that? I mean, how did you decide on the topic? How did you say? Well, because why did you not do Romeo and Juliet? I guess there's more people involved, but
Right.
so you needed to find a 2-person play. But tell us about how you came up to what we are going to enjoy.
Okay. Well, I think Lee had done part of this play before, maybe some scenes from it. He kind of remembered it. So I ordered us a couple copies of it from Dramatic Play Services, and we read it. And it, again, yes, it is a 2-person. We thought that would be easy because of just 2 people is a lot easier to schedule and get together than, say, 10 even. And it is a reader's theater production as well. And so
what does it mean?
That means you are reading right from the script. The script, if you've ever seen a script of a play, most of them are just bound like a regular paperback book, but this one has a spiral binding, and it's because you're meant to be sitting and reading it in front of your audience. And there's a
So you're cheating.
It almost
Exactly.
it almost feels like it, but it's
We're acting from here up.
It's the first readers theater I've ever done, and it was really pretty cool. I mean, the crowd buys into it so quickly.
I got to tell him this about. So last week, my son, he's 21. He and his girlfriend were going to come see it, and I was saying to him, I don't know what he was asking me questions right before I left the house to go over to the venue, and I said, well, it's a reader's theater. And so he's like, well, what does that mean? Just like, and I said, well, we're just what? You're just reading it? Well, after the show, I'm like, he was like, oh my gosh, that was so good. It was so well written, and the way you guys presented it, and the way you did the voices, and it was just really interesting. And I mean, we had people
I had
really reacting emotionally at the end of it, and
I had a guest come up to me, and she said when she sat down and saw that we were going to read from books, she was horribly disappointed. She almost left. And then she said, as soon as we got 3 or 4 pages into it,
she was hooked.
She said, I could not leave.
Yeah.
And she said, and I'm no spoiler, she said at one point in time, she said, I wanted to get up and punch you in the face.
Because she was engaging in the character.
Yeah.
And I think the best part for me, and this is not a spoiler, I don't think. No. Not really. Is turning the corner after the end of the show, and there was 3 people just crying their eyes out.
Yeah.
And it was just wonderful. It was wonderful. I mean, that way, you touch somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's art. It was affectionate, or had an impact.
Emotional,
Yeah, very good. And
it's funny too. There's a
a
lot of funny parts.
Yeah.
But
More funny than
it's a very
sad.
full script. I think
It's a Pulitzer Prize winner.
A slice of life. A.R. Gurney is the author, and
tell us, when was it written? Who is the author, and how long does it go?
In the 70s, actually, by A.R. Gurney. He's written a handful of other
American.
The Dining Room.
Yes, Sylvia. Didn't he write Sylvia?
I believe so.
That's a good one too. Anyway, it's basically letters back and forth from my character Melissa to his character Andy. And it starts when they're children, and more formal times. It's kind of set in New England, back when people of society had to write thank you notes for even children's birthday party, gifts and things like that.
It didn't have to. It was a custom.
It was a custom.
And so it starts out with those customary thank you notes between us two.
Yeah, and then passing notes in class and attending different
galas,
different things together, and invitations, and then really just getting to be friends and writing letters, and then getting to be adults and still keeping up with writing the letters, even though they have pretty separate lives for quite a while.
And terribly different lives. Yeah.
Very different lives. Yes, very different lives. And so it is very, very interesting to see how these characters, you see how they evolve through those letters, just back and forth. It's really, it is a great script.
It really is. Well, it's a Pulitzer Prize winning script. I mean,
it is. So we have a award-winning play from the 70s, emotional. So how long did it take you to prepare? I mean, you decided March, April, you ordered the script. What is it? And then May, June. So how easy is it to prepare for a play?
Well, you know what? It was harder than I thought.
Yes.
I thought, we're just going to get up and read. I mean, honestly, and I should have known better because I'm an English and drama teacher. You have to have the rehearsal. And so I probably read it 4 times by myself before I came back here. I came back at the end of May because I wintered in South Carolina. And so at that point, we're proximity enough to where we can get together and do the reading. And I think that first reading even was a little, if I think back to like the first time we read, I mean, it was a mess.
It was a mess. There's a lot of French words, a lot of some Greek words that
What do you mean? Real French words or cussing?
Yeah, real
French
words. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, she travels, and then they write to. He travels. Then they use just very simple little greetings and things like that.
Bonjour, salut.
Yeah.
But
you think it would
actual particular French words that aren't common words, though, too.
Right. That we had to
look them up.
References and authors and things like that.
Throw some French out there.
What is it?
She says all the French.
Mon chevalier.
Same shit.
Yeah, well, plus ça change, plus ça la same shit is one of the words.
And I have a Greek guy that I still have not said right, I don't think yet. Andromache.
We looked that one up. My gosh.
I know. It's like
Andromeda string. Andromache.
Andromache.
By Jean Racine.
Jean.
You said that wrong.
I know I did. I said it wrong at Drecker the other night.
Yeah.
So
They didn't care at Drecker.
they didn't care.
Maybe somebody cared. We're going to get that right all the next time.
On drama key, we're gonna say it right.
Good job.
Yeah.
So you read by yourself, prepared to
Yeah.
rehearse, and then
Well, she did. Yes.
you rehearsed 4 times. Like, because if you came back in May, we only have June. It's only July. So how
Right.
often did you practice?
Probably five or six.
Yeah.
5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of threw in some extra ones here and
Yeah.
there, just us without the director, because we felt like we needed it.
Yeah.
You know, because it is such a full script that every time you read, or up until a point, probably by the 4th
I
time.
think still even. Really.
Yeah, you discover something new, which I love that. I love that about a script. And you're like, oh my gosh, so right here is when, and that's when that happens in their lives. And yeah, it's very, very well written.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we rehearsed.
Yeah. And it's a very good thing that even with just a small little play like this, you really need a director too.
Yeah.
So I was
Somebody
gonna
to
ask,
listen.
So who was that director again?
His name's James Stenger.
Yeah.
Yep, and he has his degree in performing and technical theater from MSUM, and he works as the technical director at MSUM now, Minnesota State Moorhead.
And he's Jim or Jimmy at Billy's.
Yeah, I know him as James.
He's the head bartender at Billy's.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him.
Yeah, of course.
But he just listening to us and watching us and having us read through has some very specific insights, I think, like any director really would if you're just listening and taking it in and you're perceiving it like the audience. We can't do that. We, as an actor, you can never perceive it quite like the audience does, which is fully the reason for having a director, hearing it, listening to it, facial expressions, certain things like that. So he's been invaluable. I mean, he's been awesome.
And working for free, that's even better.
Yeah, because it is all the money is
And that's,
gonna
I
be
guess
donated.
we haven't even said that.
talked
We haven't even
about
talked about that yet. But
So it was quite some effort, and there was some help,
Yes.
not just.
no, I think we need to mention Jay Nelson.
Absolutely.
He's
I know Jay.
Do you know
Oh,
Jay?
yeah.
Oh yeah, sure
Of
you
course,
do.
yeah.
Sure you
She
do.
would, yeah.
And he's big in theater also.
I know.
He was the president of. Was he president of the board on FMCT? I think he was.
Maybe.
For
I
a
don't
year.
know.
I believe he was.
I'm sure he was.
I know he misses the theater, but
yeah.
so how did
Yeah.
he help you?
He is actually our intro guy. He actually was our media guy too.
Right.
He got us lots of connections. And he actually introduces the play for us too.
Which is awesome because one of our goals, I mean, you do kind of need to explain a little bit about what show you're going to see because it is a little bit different with us sitting doing readers theater. So he does that. But the other goal was, this is all for charity. We wanted to raise money for FMCT, and then in the case of Richwood Winery, they chose their own charity that half the money is going to, and that's the Historic Homes Theater in Detroit Lakes, so right here in Lake Country. Anyway, he explains that in his intro in a way that only somebody as talented with words and as big of a heart as Jay Nelson can. He does a beautiful job for
He
us.
is a wordsmith.
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
And so he does that. He's also your understudy.
Yeah.
Should something weird happen to you.
Yeah, we both have understudies because of COVID.
Right. And his wife, Susie Clocky, is my understudy. Should something weird happen to me.
An understudy means replacement? Or
That is correct. Yeah. So if for some reason one of us couldn't be there
ill
that night,
of some
we'd have,
sort.
the other. And those people were at rehearsal.
Yep.
Not all of the times, but a lot of the times. So, they can see and hear what we're doing.
So there's a minimum of 5 people involved.
Yeah.
Yep.
With Jay coincidentally taking 2 roles.
Yep.
Correct.
So it's much bigger than just 2 people on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It
Absolutely
as
it is.
all theater is.
Yeah.
It's always way bigger than the people that you just see on the
Sure.
stage. There's always the behind the scene people, and
Yeah.
we did keep it to quite a minimum. I mean,
Yeah.
3 is not too. 3 others is not too big, but
Yeah.
they're all
And
very
we have-
talented people
We
that
have a
wear
couple other friends that help us take tickets.
Yep.
And
that have volunteered to trek around
travel
all these
around
different
with us,
venues
yeah.
with us, and
it's just awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, theater people are very good.
Yeah.
they're
you
the
know.
best.
They are.
So what is your let's go a little bit deeper. I know that schools here and you have been involved, so
Yeah.
a theater is way bigger than what I'm used to. We don't have theater or even bands, so I feel that in the American school system, the arts, but actually music and play is valued higher. Like where I'm used to, and I'm actually critiquing my son's school, they don't do the art, like
painting,
drawing, and they don't do any art history pieces, or they barely visit a museum, or they don't go to a play in the small towns, which I'm saddened because that's how I grew up. But now you were, so tell us, or like, what do you think about the future of education? Like, is there going to be more, or do you see it as being relevant for our society? Like, I am a huge advocate of the arts, and I think it broadens your mind, horizons your so help us a little bit more to understand the value of the arts and theater.
Absolutely. I feel like not only did students from March until the end of school, were they starved for just one-on-one education with their teachers, but they're absolutely starved for the arts, and it absolutely has to come back. I feel like it feeds all other subjects. You know, they always say math, what does theater teach, what does orchestra teach, what does, you know, it all leads into other subjects and just makes a whole child, a whole person, a person who can appreciate art in the world and in lots of different venues. And I think that the role of arts in our education is huge, and of course it always receives short shrift in terms of funding, sadly.
Right, so tell us a little bit more why it is so important. Like what does it really do to a child, for example?
I think it always
convert me as a non-believer.
All right, it gives, you know, one of the things it does is it gives a child an emotional connection.
Yeah.
And whenever a child can be invested emotionally in something, when you can feel something by watching something on the stage, or you hear this beautiful something and it makes you feel a certain way, you learn more. You're interested. You want to learn that. And so then you might learn the craft of playing the cello, learning to speak like that, doing a behind the scenes. I mean, there's so many lessons to be taught.
So empathy, feeling for others, caring.
Yep.
So it's really a social teamwork.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's good for society in general.
And to work together and to find that you all have your own piece in this big connection together to make this thing happen. Like you said, we only have 5 people, but in most high school and middle school productions, there are no short of 50 to 60 people in the Fargo-Moorhead area in each separate high school doing that work, be it on stage or behind the scenes. And it's just a great way to learn to collaborate. You know, they say with these phones in our hands these days, kids aren't talking to each other face to face anymore. They don't communicate as well. And one of the things when they decided to have a 7th grade theater class for a semester in Fargo Public Schools was that exactly. It's the collaboration, the creativity, the communication process, and the arts can do that for you for sure. Yeah.
I agree. We'll wait for the train to go by.
Hey, come see our show.
It's just cool on a big, no passengers here. Sorry about that.
The conductor can come.
Yeah, but I agree with everything she said, and I mean, I saw the general manager of the Guthrie in Minneapolis. He talked on Facebook during COVID, you know, and he talks about just the combined experience that theater has on people. There was a study done a few years back that people that gather and watch live art and live theater, their heartbeat beats at the same rhythm during play. They breathe at the same time.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I
so
love
they're
that.
They're feeling the same thing. And he talks about how he went to Greece and looks down from the Parthenon, and he doesn't know much about the Parthenon, but he looks down from that hill and he sees what's obviously a theater.
Yeah.
25,000 BC or 2500 BC. And they were doing the exact same thing. They were telling the stories of their day.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we do today.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and people need to gather. People need to gather and tell the stories of today and make society. You know, I can't remember who said it, but you know, theater doesn't. It helps society make its own rules. I think. You know, and it's important.
It reflects what society is doing and its rules. And
Well, it is. Yeah. I mean, it's even more what my concern is we are not very. We have a lot of theater in Detroit Lakes, and we have a lot of performing. I've been to productions here.
Yeah.
Amazing. But when I was in school and we read, whether it's Shakespeare or Goethe, I mean, we have a lot of German, Schiller, and Goethe's right here. So I'm a little proud about Goethe, of course. But my point is also, it's not just me as a producer and an actor and learning all that team, but actually as an audience, and I actually more as a consumer, it is very relevant to be inspired and be if you should know, like Shakespeare is also critiquing, like we are critiquing, so if you don't have
making commentary
or like say what's all going wrong, because there's huge things that may go wrong in our society today. So art and theater, like even paintings, I mean, they're always critiquing or reflecting, or you're being pushed to a limit of emotions, and it's like, there's some truth to that. So I think it's not only the producing part, I think it's also the consuming and the actually going. So my 6th grade son should go and see a play.
Right.
It's not about only performance. So it's actually getting these messages out.
Yes, that's the hard part about right now, because we don't have a lot that people can
today,
go
but
to see. But yes,
I mean, in general, let's just say we are in a
yeah.
period. But I think we should do it even more, and like that goes in hand with, like, that's why we need a Holmes in Detroit Lakes, and that's why we need a Fargo Moorhead theater, so we have it available, and in Minneapolis. So I'm great that you do a fundraiser that continues because the roof collapsed. So we cannot forget that. And also the Holmes had a very unfortunate year with we have no income. We have no produce. We have no. So we are depending. So it's. I think it's a very nice. It's very nice of you to come and.
Well, we are happy to do it.
Well, it's a labor of love. Two theater people get to get on stage.
We get to do this. Plus, we get to give something.
How many people out there, theater people, would love to be on stage right now? And they can't.
Yes. I think a lot of them that aren't getting to. So.
Yeah, and I mean, and that is one thing that everybody needs to know that wants to come to this play. There's not a penny being put in anybody's pocket except Fargo Moorhead Community Theater and the Historic Holmes Theater. I mean, we are not taking any money for this whatsoever.
No.
So it's a true fundraiser.
It really is.
So you're donating your talent and your time.
Absolutely.
And then we are actually getting something for our donation.
I mean, unless somebody wants to buy us like a glass of wine, that'd be all right.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I could do that after the play at Richwood. I'd have a little bit of I've had their wine. It's delicious.
Yeah,
so you need to, or we are encouraged to purchase a ticket before. We only have 75 spaces available.
Yes, we would love that. It just helps.
How do I get it? How do I get the ticket?
On Eventbrite.
Eventbrite, you can go to.
It's an app you can get on your phone.
Yeah, you can just go to eventbrite.com and look up Richwood Winery or look up Love Letters. But the absolute easiest way to go is go to PK Productions on Facebook. And there, as soon as you pull that up, there's a book it button. Just push that button and it goes right to Richwood or Crooked Farms.
Crooked Lane. The farm is not crooked, just the lane to get there.
And then you can just buy them.
Do we know, is there like 10, 20, 30 tickets still available?
There's plenty of tickets. I think Richwood we're still probably got 40 or 50 tickets left at Richwood.
Oh, okay. So
they start selling right about a week prior.
This week we've sold quite a few for Crooked Lane, which is tomorrow night. And we'll sell them at the door too. So
absolutely.
Just
if you're not sold out, so one should check.
We knew, I think last week we were sold out at Drecker, like we knew by the day before. And we're not sold out. There are more spaces, however, down at Crooked Lane. So I think there's plenty of tickets. So please,
the more.
And then Richwood also.
Yeah.
When does it start? How long is it?
Okay. It starts, we encourage people to come early. Our curtain time, which there is no actual curtain, but the time we start is at 7:30. And the first act is about 41 minutes, I believe Jay said.
Yep.
And the second act is about 30 minutes. And we do take kind of a healthy intermission in there so people can
15
refresh
minutes.
their glasses, maybe 20 if needed, depending on the
We really want to support Richard Winery, so we want to give them lots of time to drink wine, and we get better the more wine people
That's
drink.
true. We are
Yeah.
much
are
more
awesome
brilliant.
in the second act.
We're really
Yeah,
incredible.
we are
By that
phenomenal.
second glass of wine,
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah. But we want people, and I believe Richwood, they're in-house making cheese plates, pizzas. And
you can get some food.
So they can have dinner. They can absolutely have a
Get
whole
there
date
early,
night.
order
can
yourself
come,
some
I
wine.
believe they're actually opening the gates at 6:30.
Good.
People can come out there, have dinner.
It's a
have
beautiful
wine.
setting.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
gorgeous out there. I mean, right on the lake there. They could go eat dinner, come back, and then just filter back in and stake their claim for dinner, and then come back and have watch Love Letters. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be
So
nice.
a good 1.5 hours, a little bit more.
Probably 2 by the time.
2
we're done.
hours.
Yeah.
Start 7:30. Gates open at 6:30. How much is a ticket?
It is 20
20 in advance.
in advance.
We
so
get about 5 days prior. It'll go to 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if
very
you want
affordable.
the $20 ticket, get it right away.
Yeah.
And
Now,
otherwise, it does go up to 25.
now,
And again,
There is tax and Eventbrite tax, a little service charge on there. Yeah.
but keep the money all goes to good.
To the arts.
Good
Yep,
stuff.
it all goes to the arts. It does.
Yeah. So very nice, but very good. I'm looking forward to it. I plan on coming.
Good.
Awesome.
I'll bring my son, in fact,
Yeah.
to
That would be
expose
great.
him to
There you
Okay.
go.
to the arts one more time.
And bring 30 of his friends.
Yeah, and 30 of the little ones. They're good wine drinkers. Grape juice. So I'm looking forward to it. Usually I close out our program by asking what you like about lake life, or I think you mentioned you're both on McDonald's.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
So tell us just what your personal draw or what you get out of the lake.
Okay.
Or whatever. What you
Well,
want to say.
I grew up going to a lake in South Carolina, so I've always just loved being near water, and water that wasn't chlorine. I mean, I love just the lakes. But in Minnesota has something I will say that is very unique and special. I think just my favorite thing about being at the lake after a day of being maybe in the water and on the boat is sitting on my screen porch and listening to the loons and reading. I love it. You can't have that setting anywhere but here. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, I would say I grew up in Fargo. My mom and dad, we were not very rich, but they always saved up enough money to take. There was 8 of us kids, and we always went to Soldiers Resort on Lake Glida for a week every year since I was probably 3 or 4 years old. So I have been going to the lakes, and even when I left for 50 years, I still came back to the lakes most of those years for a week. I just have been coming to the lakes. It's my second home. It's just where I go.
Yeah, I think doesn't everybody? I mean, there is something so just wonderful about being by the water and being just friendly with your neighbors and just being in your, cruddy t-shirt, and it's perfectly acceptable, and what could be better?
Yeah.
I would have not known myself. I'm a city boy, so I totally agree. I meet people that need the noise or the jet skis and the activities, but I like it too. But I also am a fan of the reading, and I actually have an old boat, and I just usually go in the middle of the lake, and then it's off, and then I let myself float, and I read. I try to read.
Very nice.
So I'm the same way. Well, is there anything I missed? Was there something that you wanted to share about the play? Is there any future plays planned, possibly?
We don't know. We only really came up with this to do this one time because of the situation and because of the need for FMCT. But we're having so much fun with it. Who knows?
We might do it every summer. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah,
Okay.
who knows?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I can get you to perform something small if crowds are allowed again in our little space.
We would love that.
That would be awesome.
I would do
That would be
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
I think what I would say is just tell people please buy the tickets, buy them early so we can prepare. the venues for what they have coming,
Right.
so that Richwood knows how much food to buy,
Yeah.
and prepare and things like
Right.
that. It really helps if they don't wait till the last minute. And I know people kind of wait and watch for the weather and things
Sure.
like that.
That's true.
But but the earlier
It's still a donation.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
matter what.
Yeah.
That's
And-
true.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
That is true. And the earlier they can buy the ticket, I think the better off the venue is. I mean, Kelly and I are be fine either way.
Right.
But it helps the venue.
It
Yeah.
does, and they've been struggling this year, so
Yeah.
that's a
So
good
if
thing
they
to
can
say.
get out and buy the tickets for Richwood, Colfax is or Crooked Lane Farms is tomorrow night in Colfax, North Dakota. That would be awesome too.
And then Drecker on the 30th.
Drecker for an encore performance on the 30th.
And that one is just a very small audience of 40, so if you know you want
that one sells out very quickly, and
Yeah.
I believe 10 are already sold.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. I didn't know that.
Well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
sharing your passion. And
It was nice meeting you, Dirk.
Yeah, very nice.
That was awesome.
We'll see you again.
Yes.
The latest at your play.
All right.
So,
Awesome.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful
No,
weekend.
you're
No,
supposed
you
to
never say good luck in
break
the
a
theater.
leg.
Oh yeah.
Bad luck to say good
Ooh.
luck.
We'll teach you.
I
about
like that
theater.
because I'm always about those sayings. Break a leg tomorrow.
All right.
And see you next time.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, this was already our newest episode of the Lake Life Weekend podcast. We sure hope you enjoyed it. Tune in again next week with another great guest and updates. Always check out our website, lakelifeweekend.com. And if you have some comments, please feel free to email us at hello@lakelifeweekend.com. And you have a wonderful weekend ahead.